In the case against two former Capitol police officers, the prosecution's star witness expert has said, in his opinion, he finds that the indicted former Capitol police officers did not use excessive force. And this is one of the most respected guys in the business, which I knew this all along because I know the guys and I know what's in their heart and I know what's in the thug's heart that roams the streets of Jackson. So I'm not the least bit surprised that he came to the conclusion that he came to. We're going to tell you about that. This is going to be a pretty lengthy video, probably 15 minutes or so. Grab some popcorn, sit down, open up a cold beer, and enjoy. But first, hey, you need to lose some weight? You want to gain some muscle? Maybe you're dealing with some other problems. Erectile dysfunction, sleep, can't build muscle, depression, lack of motivation. Bro, you could just simply be dealing with low testosterone. I want to show you a picture here real quick. I'm not where I want to be, but I've come so much further from where I was. The fat photo, well, they're both fat, but the fatter photo 3 years ago, January of 2021, right as I was starting my weight loss and fitness journey, had just started taking testosterone from Men's Health in Mississippi. The photo on the right, this one right here, was just last week. That's a big difference. Again, nowhere near where I want to be. Still got to lose some of that belly fat around the bottom down there. It is a MFer trying to get off. Let me help you get started today. Text Clay for a free testosterone screening at Men's Health in Mississippi. There's the number on the screen right there. All you gotta do is text my name, screenshot this wherever you're watching it right now. Then text Clay to 601-800-5130. The office is gonna get in touch with you. They're gonna send you a text back. They're gonna ask if you're interested in testosterone or compounded semaglutide, which is generic Ozempic. You can say yes to either or yes to both and start your journey. I do both. I take testosterone and semaglutide. You can see the difference. You can't argue it. You can hate on me because, oh, you still got some fat on your belly. Well, yeah, because I was 320 pounds. I'm 239 pounds today. So a lot more muscle, a lot less fat. I'll take it. Text Clay, 601-800-5130. And let's get back to the video. Damn, I'm happy with how far I've come. Still got a long way to go, though. All right, man, here we go. This is courtesy of Dark Horse Press and Therese Apel. A federal law enforcement expert has concluded that the use of deadly force by two Capitol police officers during a 2022 traffic stop in Jackson was justified and not excessive. The expert, Jeffery Artis, a retired FBI special agent with more than 24 years of law enforcement experience, including several years in the Jackson field office, reviewed police reports, witness interviews, autopsy records, departmental policies, and video footage related to the September 25th, 2022 shooting of Jaylen Lewis. We have reached out to the Attorney General's office for comment, and we'll update as soon as we hear back. That's Therese Apel at Dark Horse Press saying that she reached out to the AG's office. According to Artis' statement, Officer Michael Rhinewalt and Stephen Fredrick were attempting to stop a white Jeep Cherokee linked to a recent rash of auto burglaries when the vehicle struck another police officer, then moved toward the officers. Both Rhinewalt and Fredrick fired at the Jeep as it approached, and Lewis was later found to be armed with 2 handguns and an assault rifle with drugs also in the vehicle. And let me paint that picture for you there. They had him blocked in. He rammed one police officer's vehicle from the back, bam, backed into it to try to push back and get far enough. And then Rhinewalt and Fredrick were standing in front of him, and he's running straight towards them head on. And that's when they fired into the windshield and killed the thug. No love lost from me, I can assure you. Jackson is a safer place without Jaylen Lewis on the streets. And ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Continuing on, according to an indictment dated April 14, 2025, Michael Rhinewalt and Stephen Fredrick are facing a manslaughter charge in the death of Lewis, who was fatally shot near East Main Street in Jackson. The indictment states that Rhinewalt and Fredrick were truly in fear of their lives at the time of the shooting, but that it was the opinion of the AG's office that they shouldn't have been. Well, the AG's office is wrong. Officers Sweeney and Webster both told NBI agents that the Jeep struck their vehicle and then attempted to leave the scene by turning and trying to drive around Fredrick and Rhinewalt's police vehicle. According to these officers, this placed Fredrick and Rhinewalt in the path of the Jeep as it was moving forward, the report says. Rhinewalt and Fredrick told NBI agents that the Jeep struck Sweeney and Webster's police vehicle and then drove forward around their vehicle and toward them. Fredrick and Rhinewalt both told NBI agents they believed the Jeep was accelerating quickly in their direction. Both Fredrick and Rhinewalt said they fired at the Jeep because they were fearful of being hit by the Jeep, as anybody would be. Again, these guys did no wrong. This is a witch hunt. They're white. Jaylen Lewis was black. And that's the only reason why this has even been taken to court. And it's mind-boggling that AG Lynn Fitch, supposed to be a Republican, but constantly going after our law enforcement in this state is sickening. And I'm going to do everything I can to sabotage her run for governor, because trust me, she's thinking about running for governor where she has no job being. She has no job being there. Am I saying that right? No job being there? Whatever. She has no reason to be there. She does not deserve to be there. And we hope that she will never be governor of this state. She's frankly a damn Democrat pretending to be a Republican. Continuing on. Artis said the officer's response fell within the bounds of an objectively reasonable belief that deadly force was necessary to protect the lives of the officers and others. Let me read that one more time for the slow people in the back of the class. Artis said the officer's response fell within the bounds of an objectively reasonable belief that deadly force was necessary to protect the lives of the officers and others. He emphasized that a moving vehicle is considered a deadly weapon and that officers are not required to wait until they are struck before using force. This should go without saying. Lynn Fitch, can you hear this? Artis also noted that the incident was consistent with widely accepted law enforcement practices and Supreme Court standards for evaluating the reasonableness of deadly force. Under Supreme Court guidance, the reasonableness, that's a weird word, isn't it? Reasonableness of an officer's use of deadly force is measured by the totality of the circumstances at the moment of the shooting. Factors include the severity of the crime prompting the stop, the officer's actions during the encounter, and the suspect's behavior. The analysis is objective, focusing on what a reasonable officer in the same situation would have done, not the individual officer's personal belief. That's a lot. That's a mouthful right there. A front seat passenger identified as Selena Hayes told investigators that Lewis had been trying to flee and did not intend to target officers with the vehicle. Hayes has not been charged in connection with the incident. She should be. She should have picked her friends better. Anyway, she also told NBI agents that she and Lewis were drinking in the Jeep, and she had not met him before that night. She did not give a reason she was in the vehicle with Lewis. Well, let me guess. This is just an opinion. So let me say allegedly, was probably going to screw. She met him, hooked up, and they had either been gone and done the business or were heading to go do the business. I ain't judging. I ain't even saying anything's wrong with it. But if her story's accurate and she just met him, then they had been drinking, let me tell you, as a man, I know what Jaylen was doing. Jaylen was trying to get that ass. Kudos on him for doing it. He went out doing what I assume he loved. Well, attempting to do what he loved. Well, I don't know. He's a Jackson thug, so maybe what he loved was trying to kill cops. Anyway, she told, let's see here. She told NBI agents that she and Lewis were drinking in the Jeep. She had not met him before that night. She did not give a reason as to why she was in the vehicle. And we're going to read this and kind of bring this video to an end here soon. Quote, Hayes described the pertinent parts of the incident as follows. Hayes being the girl. Hayes saw the police car drive around the Jeep and stop in front of it. She did not notice the second police vehicle behind the Jeep. Lewis drove the Jeep in reverse and it struck the police car behind the Jeep. That was when Hayes first realized there was a police vehicle behind the Jeep. Lewis then put the Jeep in drive and attempted to drive around the police vehicle in front of the Jeep, the report states. Therefore, it is in my opinion that the amount of force used was justified. It was objectively reasonable for officers Rhinewalt and Fredrick to believe they were in danger of being seriously injured or killed by the vehicle driven toward them by Jaylen Lewis as he attempted to flee from the traffic stop. The report continues. Eyewitness accounts were particularly important, and each reported the same or very similar versions of the event. Selena Hayes, the front seat passenger in Lewis' vehicle, told police that Lewis was trying to get away and it didn't go right. You don't say. You know, what do these fools think? They're going to get away? Like, you really think you're going to get away? Anyway, the evidence shows that at the time, Rhinewalt and Fredrick fired their weapons. They knew Lewis was aware police were attempting to stop him, that he had used his vehicle violently to strike at least one police car, and that he was actively trying to leave the scene by driving around a stopped police vehicle in the direction of Rhinewalt and Fredrick. Under these circumstances, which are not disputed by any evidence provided by the state, the officers' belief that their lives were in danger was objectively reasonable. I love it, man. Again, I have a personal relationship with these guys. I am friends with them to a degree. Rhinewalt more so than Fredrick, but they've always been cool with me. As an FBI special agent, this is a quote here from the fella that did this from Artis. As an FBI special agent, I conducted hundreds of federal investigations into officer-involved use of force incidents for the purpose of determining whether the use of force were justifiable under the circumstances, Artis wrote. Was also formally contracted with the Mississippi Attorney General's office to review its officer-involved shooting investigations. Artis' report was filed in court Friday, and such reports are usually intended to assist the judge in understanding professional standards for police conduct. Artis states that he is prepared to testify in court regarding his opinions. And you can go over to darkhorsepressnow.com and you can read the entire opinion there. So, look, good guys win again. We hope. That's always what I used to say. Hashtag jump out boys. Fredrick and Rhinewalt were two of the OG jump out boys when the Capitol Police dropped their nuts and were actually able to start doing real police stuff. We made a ton of videos featuring those guys' arrest. The fucked around and found out championship right behind me here wouldn't exist if it weren't for those two guys. So I fully support them and will do everything I can in my power to bring attention to this witch hunt by Republican Attorney General Lynn Fitch, which I will see Thursday night at an event in Oxford I'm going to, so I'm sure it'll be nice and awkward. But hey, we stand up for what's right around here. Make sure you're listening to the Clay Edwards Show every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can watch it stream live right here, wherever you're watching this video, or on the FM dial at 103.9 FM WYAB. Also, Sean Yurtkaran and Lindsey Beckham are on the radio right now as I record this, 12 to 1, discussing this very topic. Sean, being a former DA and a current top criminal defense attorney here in the Tri-County area, has a unique perspective on it, and they've been covering this thing way more and in much more detail than I have been. But I'm kind of a wrecking ball through a china shop. Bull in a china shop is the phrase I'm looking for here. But I highly recommend going back to the YouTube channel, Both Sides of the Bench, or type in Sean Yurtkaran. Believe it or not, it spells just like it sounds. And Lindsey Beckham, you can find it on their Facebook pages, their YouTubes, whatever, and listen to their analysis of this. And I'm going to be doing the same thing when I get done here. I should have waited until they finished and stole some of their content, but I had to film this now because I got to go run some errands. I wanted to get it out and posted. Y'all have a blessed day. Don't forget, text Clay 601-800-5130 for your free testosterone screening. And you can swing by my merch shop at buyfafo.com and check out the all new FAFO shirts available in stock and ready to ship today. We got the shirts in green and black. We've also got some of the Mississippi Blackout Tag Edition shirts, which I don't have the pictures of right here. We got a few hats available, and every shirt comes with a sticker with that very logo on it right there. Actually, comes with 2 stickers. Thank y'all. That's buyfafo.com.